Finally, the wait is over. I have my internet back today. I couldn't be more pleased. It has been almost a month or more that it seems like I've been without internet. So I'm just going to jump right into it. First, I have some major updates on a lot of my programs that needs to be done, including my screencast. My subscription actually ran out yesterday. So I need to redo that, redo some stuff, and I have a few charts to upload. Give me 48 hours. Everybody that's waiting on a chart, give me 48 hours to get them all uploaded. That's even including me sleep time. I'm just going to let them run while I sleep and then just publish them when I wake up. So everybody waiting on a chart, get ready for it. Everybody that's been wanting to request a chart the past month, you can go ahead and hit my email. I'm ready to go. I actually got some stuff done while my internet was down. And I got me a system now so that now when you order a chart, you actually get a scheduled date for that chart. I'm not going to let myself be overloaded anymore. So when you order, then I'm going to send you a date back that's the date that your chart will get done. And I will do them in the order that I received them. All right. Got a lot of emails to go through and comments. Literally in the thousands. So be patient with me. I'm going to try to go through all of them. But again, I'm going to back up to the beginning, almost a month ago, and reply to them as they were received. So be expecting some well-delayed comment and email replies. I will try to get to them all. In the meantime, I'm just going to get my updates done, get these charts loaded up, and then get back into making some videos. I've actually made a few videos that I wanted to post, but they are, at this point, irrelevant. We've already hit the 5 planets retrograde. We already have Mercury retrograde now. So I'm going to dismiss those videos and just move forward from here, because we have a Uranus retrograde coming up. And that's when the shit truly hits the fan. We already have a Pluto retrograde in ideology and a Neptune retrograde. So we're going to have all 3 of the outer planets retrograde. And then when this just feels like it's going to stop, then we're going to have Venus go retrograde as well. In a really bad position, no doubt. Venus is already going to be debilitated in the sign of Virgo. So we're going to watch that exactly like her counterpart, Mercury, did earlier in the year, going retrograde in his sign of debilitation. We're going to get to experience Virgo do the same thing. Retrograde in her sign of debilitation. So that's the point where I use the phrase, the love of many have waxed cold. It's almost a cold heart, a cold, bitter heart when you talk about Virgo retrograde Venus retrograde in Virgo. Her house is Libra. She's exalted in Pisces, but debilitated on the other end of the mutable cross. And Mercury is the opposite. Mercury is exalted in Virgo, but debilitated in Pisces. They seem to switch places. And remembering these are dealing with your chakras. So the heart chakra, Venus, she rules heaven, Libra, and earth, Taurus. So it's like our hearts are torn between heaven and earth, but debilitated in mutable earth. That changeable earth. The heart doesn't like change. Mercury, likewise, he rules mutable earth and mutable air. So he's torn between heaven and earth. but he's debilitated in water. He's debilitated in this age of Pisces. That's why the people have no voice in this age. We are not heard. We're not represented. No matter how much they tell us we are not. It's an age of illusion, an age of delusion, almost an age of confusion, because it's the age of I believe, blind faith, the blind leading the blind. It's time to come out of that illusion, to learn to master that Mercury retrograde chakra that we're all experiencing right now. And mine is ass backwards. Mercury goes retrograde, I get my internet back. That's almost unheard of. I almost was, when it didn't come back before Mercury went retrograde, I almost cried, because I understood that that Mercury retrograde could just delay that more and more and more. But now we're going retrograde back over the same period, the same weeks that my internet's been shut down. So I get to go back and review all this material that I've not been able to upload and redo it and issue it back in a more updated format. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to channel this Mercurian energy in a better direction. There's always a flip side to every coin if you're just willing to turn it over. It's like pennies, the pennies from heaven. When you walk on the ground and you see a penny and they tell you, see a penny, pick it up, and all day you'll have good luck. But if the penny's on heads, you have good luck, but if it's on tail, you have bad luck. Well, I'm telling you, you can reach down and put your finger under that penny and flip it. Flip that penny before you pick it up. And pick them all up, but some of them need flipped first. That is like a retrograde. You need to flip it first before you can pick it up. That way it's not harmful to you. It's the difference in picking a snake up by its head or by its tail. Think about what I'm telling you here and how it relates to the energy in your body. This Mars retrograde, people become depressed. They're emotionally unstable, especially with Saturn retrograde, and all the borders are down, the gloves are off. Mars is going to retrograde into Sagittarius right before he turns around. And it's going to kick off that Pluto, Saturn retrograde already in Sagittarius. I can't imagine what the people on the Beautiful Cross are going through, especially those in Sagittarius, having to deal with it in your first house. Myself, I have a Mars Saturn in my first house, which is Capricorn. I'm going to feel the same thing in just a year and a half. It's all going to move right into my house, and I'm going to feel that same effect. But on a more earthly level, when you talk about Sagittarius, that's the humanitarian. He's the sage of the earth, the Sagittarian. He's the shaman, the illuminated one, the philosopher. It's all about ideology, and because Pluto's there, it's ideology from the subconscious. That's why learning symbolism is so, so important, because your brain speaks language, but your subconscious speaks symbolisms. And a lot of the symbolisms that are being flashed at us on the black box, they are, what word do I want to use? That they're almost plagiarized, because they give us the symbol with the wrong indication of it. They give it to us backwards. They make the bad good and they make the good bad. Like the Baphomet. The Baphomet is the same thing as Pan, right? The goat man. They're both the goat man. But one is inverted from the other. One is original, Pan. The other is the imposter, Baphomet, even though they're the same thing. They're the goat man. So they've taken evil and made it good, and they've taken good and they've made it evil, just simply by inverting it. So we must learn to reinvert. You reinvent to reinvert. That way your chakras spin normally, and this energy passes through you. Important during these retrograde periods like this is to be what I call grounded. When you put a lightning rod on a house, so when the lightning strikes, it hits the rod and goes into the ground, and it doesn't pass through the house. This is how we need to treat these retrogrades. We take it and we channel it through us so that it doesn't blow up within us, because that energy can be so strong, especially with this many retrogrades, that you just want to explode inside. You got to get that energy out, especially the Mars energy retrograde, because he's the root chakra and he needs to be grounded. And he is grounded and he's exalted in cardinal earth of Capricorn, but he's fixing to back up into that fire. Uranus is in fire, fixing to back up into water. Venus is going to be air, backing up into earth. Pluto and Saturn will remain in the same sign. They are simply retrograde in fire. But you need to channel this energy, and you do it in many different ways. Each chakra and each planet is represented by a metal. The sun is gold, Mercury is mercury, Venus is copper, Mars is iron, Jupiter is tin, Saturn is lead. You can take these metals and help to channel that energy. You can do art with them. You can create something with them. Channel it through your body into manifestation. That way you don't implode and you don't explode. You channel it through you like the lightning rod. And you use your creativity as that lightning rod to channel those energies. Using the metals, or use the colors of the planets. The sun is gold, the moon is silver, Venus is green, Mercury is blue, and just go on down the line. Jupiter is considered orange, and Mars red. That's on the planetary scale. When you talk about the elemental scale, you have the red, the yellow, the black, and the white, to where Mars is not part of the red in the upper scale, only in the lower scale. So keep all that in mind, using your colors, use the metals, use whatever is associated with those chakras and those planets, and do it in a different way. Take control of yourself. You control the body and the chakras. It's mind over matter, and it's really that simple. And Kelly says hello, and I'm going to end this one here because I want to get ready into getting my updates done. That way I can start uploading these charts. And then we'll get back into some serious videos, and I got a lot of Bible Bibble Babble on the table. A lot of it coming down the pipe that is actually relevant to what's going on right now on the world stage and in the heavenly timeline as well. As above, so below. Don't forget to commit that random act of kindness every chance you get. And it will benefit you greatly if you go out of your way and create an act of kindness where one did not exist. And this is how we change the world. We start with ourselves, and then we start spreading that to those around us. Very subtly, like a Pluto or Uranus. They move really slowly. They're subtle. They're going to give you a long time to get this work done. And when you come at this that way, patience is the name of the game. So be patient. That's something I've really had to do the last month. Struggling with the amount of heat that's going on. No internet. And it has been crazy around here. I went to walk out my door yesterday, and the sheriff's department was standing in my front door. I couldn't even get out my door because they were standing there arresting a bunch of people. And the other night I went to take my dog out, and they had literally, a security guard here had gotten a altercation with somebody coming through the complex, and they took the security guard's gun away from him and shot him with it. So they put the tape around, the police tape. They tied the shit to my door. So literally when I'm trying to open my door, the police tape is tied to my knob and it's pulling it back. I didn't realize they had done that. When I hear gunshots, I just go into the bathroom. I just go into the bathroom and stay till the gunfire's over, because you never know which direction it's coming from. And it's just been between the heat and all the retrogrades. Las Vegas is like on high alert, especially in here. And I live in a crazy place that Domino's don't even want to deliver. I had my kratom got delivered and it got stolen. So I'm having to reorder that now. And I don't know if y'all are experiencing what I am, but all of the suppliers are being shut down. All of them. They're no longer able to take payments. They're doing to them exactly what they did to the Native American Indians over the tobacco. They cut off their credit cards, then they're going to cut off their checking, and you're going to resort to buying money orders so that you can even pay for it. They cut off the means to pay. A lot of the suppliers are moving to Bitcoin and offering a 20% discount when you do so. I always leave a link down in the bottom for Bitcoin. And understand, Bitcoin is what I got in at 1800. It went up to 20,000. And then it fell back down to about 6,000. But it's starting to make that climb. And any time the dollar gets in trouble, when they raise the rates at the Fed, Bitcoin's going back up. And what I'm doing costs nothing. It costs you nothing but your time. You do not invest any money into it. I've been doing it a little less than a year, and I have over 1 million Satoshi already. And only 81 referrals. And 90% of them only push the button one time. So predominantly, I've only got actually maybe 2 people that actually are benefiting off the Bitcoin link. If you're sitting in an office at a desk all day, and a little bell goes off and all you got to do is push a button and make money, like I said, I'm in this for the long haul. Eventually, all this button pushing I've done is going to pay off. It might be a year, it might be 2 years, it might be 3 years. But if the dollar ever does crash, or we go into recession, I'll have something to fall back on. And I wanted to offer that to you guys. You'll get no emails, no scams, no offers. It's a gambling site. And every hour they give you free Satoshi so that you might gamble. Well, I don't gamble, so I just push the button for the free Satoshi and save them. I'm just saving them. It's like picking those pennies up and just save them. I have a whole jar of pennies that I pick up all over this town. People throw change down on the ground, especially the tourists that come in from overseas, because it's useless to them when they go home. And they'll just buy something and they'll just literally throw the change on the ground. And the homeless live off of that. But you see the occasional penny that even the homeless don't want. And I'll pick them up and act like I won the lottery when I done it, and put it in my little pennies from heaven jar. And one day, if it ever gets full, I would like to take it, convert it into dollars, and then maybe go back out on that same street where I picked them up and pass them back out as dollars to the homeless people that do live in my area. There are quite a few of them. I have to say, living in Las Vegas, I've lived in a lot of big cities. I've lived in Houston, Miami, San Diego. I've lived in Dallas, some really huge cities. So I know what a homeless population looks like. But I have never seen homeless like here. It's a huge population, but they're treated differently here. The homeless here are not treated like they are in other cities. In other cities, people act like they've got the plague. Here, people actually, I guess because mostly they're tourists in the area I'm in, because of the area I'm in, most of the people are from out of town, so they don't mind giving to the homeless. And when tourists come in, these aren't poor people. The tourists that come in, you don't come to Vegas unless you have money. So they're more generous to give. And so it is not the homeless people that are stealing and killing. For that matter, this past year, the homeless people have been under siege here. We have a serial killer who's just been walking up to homeless people who are passed out on the sidewalk at night and just killing them, just shooting them. They have pictures of him on the news. We'll see it ever so often, but they have yet to identify who the culprit is. But he has been systematically culling a lot of the homeless. And unfortunately, the homeless don't have a television, they don't have a cell phone, and they don't know this is going on. They do not know they're a target. They've not been told, not by the police or by anybody, that this is happening. They're quite unaware. And I'm quite aware of that, because they wouldn't be laying on the same street somebody got shot 2 days before for being homeless, had they known this. But maybe that'll stop too soon. We have a brand new world coming in 2020, the beginning of a brand new world. This is the end of the beginning. We've been through the beginning of the end. Now we're at the end of the beginning. And we're fixing to really step off into this. As Saturn turns around and comes back through Sagittarius and enters into Capricorn in 2020 with Jupiter there. And Saturn is going to do one more retrograde before we get there. So get ready for that one, and it's going to be another Saturn-Jupiter double retrograde in Sagittarius. They're going to step into Capricorn and Saturn's house, and then they're going to walk right back into Jupiter's house. And then turn right back around and conjunct in Saturn's house, where Jupiter is debilitated. And that's the best news on the table. That's the best news we've had, and I'm not going to say decades, I'm going to say hundreds of years. Hundreds of years that we've had a Saturn-Jupiter conjunction in Capricorn, to where Saturn actually has the upper hand here, because Jupiter is debilitated. Empire is debilitated here. And Capricorn, when you talk about Capricorn, the stars in Capricorn are the Jedi. They're Algeti. They're Algeti. And they are the lucky ones of the slaughter. That is, and the goats are called kids. That's the same story as Anakin Skywalker when he walks into the younglings temple. The Jedi temple, he kills the younglings. He kills the kids. Those stars, lucky ones of the slaughter. Well, this time, Saturn is going to conjunct Jupiter there. And it's almost going to be like Star Wars in reverse. In this episode, it's going to be like Anakin kills the Emperor instead of the younglings. Yeah, say hello, Kelly. But we're going to get to see a different version. I think she's through now. Like I said, we're going to get to see a different version of that same scene than what we saw on the big screen. When Jupiter is in Capricorn, he is debilitated. Now you understand, Jupiter is the Darth Vader character. The word father in German, which is associated with Jupiter, in German is Vader. Father is Vader in German. So when you say Darth Vader, you're saying Darth Father, which is funny because no and Luke, I am your father, Vader meaning father. Also, he is debilitated there in Capricorn. So, and Saturn's going to be there this time. So that's not going to happen the way it did before. This game is going to change right before our eyes. And some are going to be thrilled about it, and others are literally going to cry themselves a river of tears because they weren't ready. And now is the time to get ready, especially with the planets retrograde. Now is especially Saturn retrograde, because the walls are down, the gloves are off. And so your gloves are off. Go get it done. Go take charge of your own life. Go empower yourself. Stop picking the left side and the right side, and pick the only side that matters. Pick the inside.